Well, should we be brutally frank about it, or we should just really talk more about it, is a question I'm asking. I'll still be asking my guest. But anyway, in case you're joining us, definitely that's what we're having as a major discourse today on The Big Story. We're talking about corruption and that very coming from no other but Chief Edwin Clark, stating that many governors are far wealthier than their states. And how did they do that? Well, corrupt ministers. But anyway, that's the means and the reason we're having this discussion today on The Big Story. And you agree with me, it's really big having two of my guests here. And I'm talking of no other person but Comrade FM&TV and Honorable Clem Udukwe, former Labour Party House, or rather Labour Party House of Assembly candidate in the last concluded election. But anyway, it's that time we also would do this. We need to take a message from our sponsors. And we're talking about Benita Gas located right here in Ughelli, Okokoko, and Warri and environs. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion centered right here on The Big Story.
Hey, Willikity, how person want to talk about gas matter? Make Beneta gas plant no sit down for a matter. Gas when we say it light and last well. Now Beneta gas plant na filamo. Gas when the full rich mark pek. Now Beneta gas plant na filam, and for any type and size of gas cylinder plus all accessories. Now Beneta gas plant na the touch lighter. Now every day now Beneta gas plant they open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. On top refill matters. Oh yeah, make you visit any Beneta gas plant branch. You fit enter inside of Quisoko off Jakba Road, opposite UBA for PTI Road Efru, Nehemiah Junction, near former Army checkpoint for Okwokoko, or 101 Ajami Moga Ekpe Road, Warri, or 145 Ughelli Patani Expressway by Advisory Junction when carry eye, they look Shikiman and NNPC roundabout for Isoko Road for Sergeant Quarters for Ughelli. For more information, make you call Beneta Gas Plant for 080-6745-7890. Beneta Gas Plant. Now God, they our back.
Well, those are our sponsors, but remember the big story is so big that you can also be a part of it. And come place your goods here, and you'll be rest assured you really be getting to those that will definitely do justice to it. But anyway, let's do justice to the topic, and we're still right here talking about it. Before I went on the break, in case you're just joining us now, we took a critical look at how really the citizens of the state have really felt that very impact of bad governance on account of corruption of many of the governors. And looking at not just that, but also how really bad has the problem been and what has really contributed to it, reason for them taking all of it and leaving little or nothing for the citizens. But anyway, let me quickly come to you, Honorable Clement. And if we look at it, especially taking a look at what Chief Edwin Clark stated in his autobiography on Thursday. He talked about governors increasing prices of contracts that they award, and take about 80% of it, just like you stated earlier, Comrade FM&TV, and only 20% goes to state. But that's not what I want us to look at as a means of them really getting this money and enriching themselves on account of the detriment of the state. But I want us to rather take a look at another issue he raised, and that's the issue of security votes. Well, security votes have now been a part of governance, especially as circumstance state governors, and they show little or no indication of what this money are being used for. Well, that's why they said security it is then, a security vote. But let's look at that and how that have been a conduit pipe in them criminally enriching themselves. Security votes.
Yeah, for me, I think that security votes, I think as far as governance in Nigeria is concerned, does not have much effect on either governance itself or on the people being governed.
Okay.
Because the security vote is statutory, it's compulsory, and it's unquestionable. And when you make laws, or when you have laws that are unquestionable, it becomes a problem. Okay. Because when those funds come in, the governors tend to, have it as their personal, resources. So they do with it whatever they wish. So I would want to, hoping that such nomenclature, being termed as security votes, if it's possible, it should be scrapped.
Expunged from our constitution.
Expunged from the constitution. except they are going to change it to say security votes for the people. Because there was an analysis I saw recently when they were talking about some of our politicians, senators, House of Assembly members, governors and so on. They say the what we call wardrobe allowance. There's also what we call hardship allowance. And somebody was bringing a photo of an impoverished child who is putting on a tattered shirts and saying, between this senator and this child, who needs wardrobe allowance?
It's a child.
Who needs the security votes? Who is actually suffering, from the insecurities in our modern society? Is it not those who are in the hinterlands? These kids who does not have the means of going to school. They don't have the means. There are some people that cannot even boast of, 3 is not even square, a meal a day. Now some people are even doing 101. Some people will do 001. That's to tell you that this security vote is not meant for these people in power. If we want
according to the Constitution, they said is if money that they use in securing the life and properties of the citizens of the state.
And that's what we are saying. That's what we are saying. The money is not being judiciously used for the purpose. Okay. In as much as it is statutory and as much as it's not questionable. It's a fund that is not questionable.
Of course not.
The usage of the fund is to the prerogative of the governor. Is it true?
Yeah.
So what we are saying is any fund that is committed to governance and thus is unquestionable, that fund is fraudulent. So it should be expunged from the Constitution. So that is our opinion. Because I'm speaking from the side of the public opinion, as it were.
Even aside that, Mike, thank you so much, Alex. The fish that escaped from the net is at the front of the net. So this one that escaped you this last election is still waiting for you in the front. Don't worry.
Yes,
okay?
All right, sir. Thank you.
If you have security vote in the state, and throughout the period of a month, 2 months, 3 months, there was no security concern, then why do you continue voting more money into it? Knowing fully well that the ones that were there were not used
before,
as there was no security concern. We are almost in a peaceful period for some time now.
In the south.
Though there are some still little skirmishes here and there, but cannot be compared to what happened. It cannot be up to even 5% of what we were experiencing before.
Yeah.
And now you continue bringing in the security vote, and it is unquestionable. They have said it is unquestionable, and the people don't know where that money goes. I don't even think the House of Assembly knows where that thing goes, because it's just only one person that has access to that account, and that is the governor. And nobody can ask the governor, what did you do with that money? How much is even the money that is coming in?
Because Chief Edward Clark spoke greatly about that. And said he feels it's more like a conduit pipe that these people use in
siphoning this money.
Siphoning the basic resources of the state.
Yes. Okay, look at the past administration. Now, let us even narrow it down a bit. Where billions of naira loan was approved with just a ribbon on the floor of the House of Assembly. Few days to the expiration of the government in power. That money came in. What was it used for? Can anybody explain what they used? What project did they use it to execute in that 1 week? Nobody seems to be saying anything. Once the governor has said, everybody keeps quiet. And one of the major problems we are having that is giving all these governors this enormous power, unquestionable power, is most of the elections are fought. Like the first administration of this political dispensation we are. If you want to misbehave, they will call you, my friend, you know this election, you never wanted to look at your result. If you don't play ball, we play you as a ball. And once you hear that, it will be quiet. Then the next thing you will hear is, I beg, find me my little one, make I go sit down. Not be spoil Nigeria. It's a very bad norm, not be spoil Nigeria. Then why did you go there to represent the people? If you know you cannot serve their interests. And two, we that are being led, we are not also a solution to this problem. We are more of a problem to this solution. Have we been able to question our leaders that we send? I am not a senator. I am not a House of Reps. But I am indirectly a senator in the House of Reps and even a governor. Because my vote is part of the votes that is keeping that person there. And also, all of us cannot sit down there. That is why we ask somebody, you go there and sit down and talk to us. Have we questioned anybody any day? Rather, when they even come home and we know that this person is sitting on our commonwealth, when they come home, we line the streets, we sew new dresses, we go and buy new shoes. So what is that? So, Governor, they come. Governor, they come. You make the man feel that everybody is comfortable. And tomorrow you will not say, when he leaves, he head, very foolish man, he's a very wicked man. You that has praised him in the open, now you want to go back behind and start castigating him. Who is more foolish? We should put our acts together. The governors, they have taken it as their point of duty, their right, legitimate right, to dip their hands into the treasury. When did you even hear of a accountant general of the state or even the federal government? When last did you hear of them? When last did you hear of submitting your detailed financial of a state or the federal government? It is of now they want to start talking about auditing the Central Bank of Nigeria. But before the audit result comes out, we already know what it is going to be.
Now, yeah, as much as we've highlighted this, I want us to look at why our anti-graft agencies have not been effective in dealing with this. Like, for example, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, since it was established, have investigated about 31 state governors. They've taken 11 state governors to court, had only 2 convictions. But after that convictions, these 2 were even finally pardoned before completing their sentence. So, but my question now, let me bring you into it, Honorable Clement. Is it that our anti-graft agencies do not have that needed power to deal with the issues? Or do you feel our laws are not just there and they do not have the teeth to hold these people accountable? So let's look at it. Is it our justice system has failed? Because what I'm asking, we've seen cases of governors that escape jail term in this country, but when they go to other crimes, they are also being punished on account of the corrupt tendencies they had in our own state. So the question still remains, is it that, I don't get it, is it our justice system is not really equipped to deal with this issue and our anti-graft agencies are just playing to the gallery?
Mike, I want to say that if we actually are serious about the solutions to these enormous challenges we are having. First solution to all these things, first thing we need to do is to get the right persons into office. Square peg in square hole. Round pegs in round holes. Like one of the presidential candidates in the past election, in an interview, he was asked, seeing the fact that there are a lot of cases of corruption and corruption is systematic in the country, how do you intend to tackle corruption if you become the president? You know what he responded? He said, if I become the president and I as the president am not corrupt, my wife is not corrupt, my ministers are not corrupt, I would have reduced corruption by 50%, at least to start with. So what is he saying? He's saying invariably that my body language will determine the kind of persons I will, give appointment to. As ministers, will get, votes into power. As you are talking about our anti-graft agencies, for instance.
Those are been able. Those are. Is it that their hands were so tight? They've only had 2 convictions on the 31 cases.
Those are appointments. And like our comrade said, he said, by the time you appoint someone whom you know that you go to just, if there's an issue, you just remind the person of his dirty files. And then the person will just mellow down. The case we're supposed to pursue, maybe a criminal case or a fraudulent matter, will just die down. It will water down naturally. You understand? So I feel by the time we appoint the right persons into office, and then we get our ministers, we get our commissioners in the states, we get the local government, chairman, the councillors. By the time we get it right from these, tiers of government, we get the right people in office. And how do we do this? The process has already started. The people don't tend to understand that they have a voice. Continuous advocacy, just like as we are doing here. It's, like he said, the public don't know the power we possess as individuals. And when we come together to say, no, this is what we want. For example, a few years back, we talked about NSAS. You saw, the courage, you saw the guts, and you saw the results. And now, for instance, there's a one that is in the verge now, that is raining now. This all eyes on the judiciary.
All eyes on judiciary.
And you are seeing the effect, because by now, if it were in a normal circumstance, by now we would have gotten judgments. But because of this continuous advocacy of all eyes on the judiciary, you are seeing that everybody is now trying to amend to see that they do the right thing, because that is what the people are saying. Just give us a fair judgment, do the right thing, let your conscience prick you to do the right thing by delivering the right judgment that will favor the people, not for your personal aggrandizement.
Okay, now, Comrade, I need to quickly bring you into this.
Yes.
Our anti-graft agencies, like I said, have done so much in investigating most of these cases. But it's quite unfortunate and a far cry from where Nigerians will want them to be. Is it that they are not really empowered and they just play into the gala in dealing with the issue of corruption, especially as a concern? I want us to really continue to center it on state governors, because like we said, they've had 11 convictions, but only 2 have gone to jail on account of enriching themselves from the public purse of their states. And finally, they were pardoned anyway.
They were pardoned. Presidential one, even not ordinary pardon. Presidential pardon.
Come on. Yeah, just go ahead.
What is corruption? We have 2 major types of corruption: financial corruption and attitude corruption.
I'd rather let us stick to the financial, because he's the one tearing us apart.
Attitude is worse.
Well, we do understand.
If financial corruption, I will tend to steal your money. But when I have attitude corruption, I will even steal you that owes that money, together with your money. That's what we're experiencing.
Okay.
Now, we're talking about the anti-graft agency, EFCC, and EFCC that has a front runner. Where is Bawa, the immediate past chairman of EFCC? He's still in detention. As of today, it should be 39 days in detention, and the law provides for 35 days before. If without trial, it should be let go until they charge him. Now, today is the 39th day. Out of the 47 ministers, the president submitted the list of ministers submitted to the National Assembly. Almost 45 are having corruption cases.
Hanging on your necks. Hanging on their necks.
Good. Now, 7 past governors that were indicted are also commissioners. And the man who was fighting to prosecute them is in the jail. So how do you resolve it? Tomorrow, if they now make you FCC chairman, will you go and sit down there and do what you are supposed to do? Are you going to do it? The person that you are prosecuting is the one that is now sitting and laughing at you on television. See that stupid man. Say, come out and do it now. How do you feel as a person? What is the sin of the umpire that he has not been able to be tried all these years? Before you arrested him, was he not having issues that you thought was against the law before you arrested him? Why do you keep him in perpetuity, incommunicado, or what other English again do we use now, Mike? In the gulag. You are short of it too. Get him in the gulag without trial. And you are telling us that this anti-graft agency should work. This, the former one, Magu. Magu was in office for as long as a constitutional appointee should be, but he was never given the substantiate office as he was acting for those number of years. Which power do you think he will exercise? Now, the governors and the ministers are seated comfortably now, sharing the little that comes to them, either through prayers on their text messages and all this and all that. But the man that's supposed to be watching over them is seated somewhere. They were able to prosecute 2 out of all these laws. When I was in Abuja last year, unfortunately, the man we went to see died. He died now. They gave us a file of 128 cases they are handling. They've not been able to prosecute one due to one judiciary frequent adjournments. Different types of laws will come up, they will kill that case. We cannot go ahead like this, Mike.
Anyway, I know we cannot go ahead like this, but I'll plead with you, we need to go on somewhere, and that's a break. And when we come back, we can continue our discussion centered on this, especially as we look at corruption, especially as it centers on state governors and how they have become wealthier than some of their states. Let's go on a break.